Okay, tonight, I know it's starting kind of late. This is my first time doing public scrapping. I'm going to be scrapping for e-waste 3 old computers. Sorry about that. Now these machines may appear a little wet. That's because I gave them a bath to get all the dust particles off of them. Alright. So let's get into it. First off, because this power supply unit's in the way, I'm going to go ahead and undo it. So, ¿qué si dónde trae mi imán? El imán que te dije que trajera. Alright. This is my first time going live. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, or at least make videos. If you leave a comment, let me know what you want to see. If I'm not getting close enough to be able to see this stuff, I'm so used to just tearing stuff apart and not having to worry about what it looks like. So right now, sorry about the shakiness, I'm just going to go ahead and pop out the RAM. Just so you all know, I am located here in Joplin, Missouri. I do buy RAM for $25 a pound. If you have junk RAM, don't throw it away. If you want to give it to somebody, you can donate it to me. Or alternatively, like I said, I buy it for $25 a pound. Alright. I'm going to zip these off real quick. Now, ultimately, the goal is the e-waste that I collect gets recycled. And I don't process e-waste myself. I do sell it. Primarily, I've begun selling to Board Sort, who seem to have the best or most stable prices nationwide. That's a zip drive. So as you can tell, this is really old technology. It is not worth checking to see if it functions properly. A computer like this would have stability issues, and you would not be able to install modern software on it, and would have lots of compatibility issues, not be worth messing with. So I'm going to take us down a little bit further. Oh, that's smooth. Okay, let's get a little bit closer. Hey, Mr. Adam Huff, I'm sorry I haven't really been watching my camera that well, unless I move it. Thanks for joining the live. I know how much you appreciate electronics. And just so we're clear on this e-waste stuff, this was a byproduct to a business that I started 10 years ago called Ion Flux Technology Services, as it's now known. formerly IonFlex PC Services. So I got into the habit of recycling everything that I didn't no longer need or that wasn't working properly. Let's see here. Hello, Sarah. How are you doing? Okay. All right. I'm going to bring us up a little bit. Okay. Sorry, I'm kind of at a pausing point. I've never taken apart one of these old HPs. It does remind me a lot of a compact, but has some different features than what I'm used to seeing. Sarah, Benny, babe. Sarita, venga. Hello, Danielle, thanks for joining us. Sorry about that. Alright, I don't quite know how this is going together. I have to take it apart. Sara, ¿puedes ajustar la cámara? ¿Puedes ajustar la cámara?
¿Que si puedo?
Ajusta la cámara.
¿Qué cámara?
Este.
Oh. ¿Esto?
¿Tiene flash?
Ay, no sé cómo. ¿Que le pongas zoom?
No, no quiero flash.
¿No quiero flash? ¿Zoom o no?
Se puede ver lo que estoy haciendo.
Oh. Ah, sí.
Okay. Okay. Tengo una problema con esa máquina.
Hazlo un poco ahí.
Ok. Pues chatear para que puedan leer lo que me digas. Chatear ahí, lo puedo ver los mensajes. Alright. Okay, this I imagine is going to be one of those old Athlons. I'm going to say maybe 2002. But let me get into it. Okay. Alright. It is AMD, but I don't know if it's an Athlon. It is an Athlon. I don't know if you can see that. Right there, Athlon. So this would have been one of those, you might call it a second gen Athlon, because technically the first gen Athlons, which were on a KT motherboard, were a slot processor. And these are, as you can see, PGA, pin grid array. And those gold pins are a telltale sign. Alright. Okay. Finally got that off. What a relief. Chasito, tráigame agua, please. Alright, here we've got the DVD drive. This is IDE. You can tell by the pins, it's not SATA. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Alright. Okay. Alright. Last, the CD-ROM, CD Writer Plus IDE. The IDE just indicates that it's old. And this is a small power supply unit. Don't see very many like this. It says VR400. It is a 400 watt power supply unit. Now, even though the board only used 20 pins, it does have the additional 4, so this technically would be considered a 24-pin ATX power supply unit. There, believe it or not, there are 15-pin SATA power connectors on this, and Molex. And of course you have the 4-pin CPU power. So basically we've got some aluminum, some circuit boards, and some shreddable steel. Oops. All right. This one. All right, and on to the old Dell. Okay, now this looks like a first gen Optiplex, but at a glance, it is not. It is a Dimension 2400. I'm not very familiar with these. This computer was built before the first time I even touched a computer. Okay. So like with anything that you're scrapping, you get rid of the easy stuff first. Piece of plastic, cables. Now, my guess is this will be a PGA 478, but I'm not sure. It could be LGA 775, which will be one generation newer than the ancient PGA 478. Not that any of that means anything. Off the RAM. Good old 256 megabytes of DDR. Hey, solid piece of aluminum right there. All right. My scrapyard, which is CMC, the one that I go to, they pretty much give you a flat rate for all your aluminum. It's called sheet aluminum. I don't really like that they do that, but that's what they do. So as you can see, this is a PGA CPU, pin grid array. This is the Celeron. All right. Okay. I like to work on these heat sinks and everything while the board is still attached. Makes it easier to pop them off. If the board's loose, pain in the butt. Trying to get in closer. Now, when you recycle things like this is called a gold finger card, and as you can see, it has gold fingers on it. So, gonna keep moving on now. Okay. Keep going. Now I'm just going to say this as if someone watching would be doing the same thing. If you do try to sell like these types of things to Board Sort or anyone else, you do have to remove these CMOS batteries. You do have to remove the heat sinks. I'm not saying you would, but if you did, okay. There's the motherboard. Kind of basic. This is just your run-of-the-mill Dell desktop motherboard from like the year 1999 to the year 2002. Very old. Not worth a lot of money. Not worth a lot of money as scrap or anything else. A board like that will get you about $6 a pound, between $4 and $6 a pound. To some people, it's not worth it, but if, like me, you already have some lying around, it's worth it. Oops. Tú estás lo único viendo. Huh? All right, we're going to need to go up a little bit. Now, supply unit. Mhm. That is nasty. All right, one final machine for the party. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is an old compact. Like usual, I'm gonna get the RAM out first. DDR. That's actually a pretty good looking RAM for DDR. I'm gonna set that aside for another DDR machine that I got. Collector. Let's collect the hardware on it. All right. This one looks like it's got a little more to it than the other ones. Okay. Looks like we've got another PGA 478. That's a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Let me double check this with that is. Yep, that is PGA 478. Not that that means anything to anybody, but it kind of tells you how old this stuff is. I think the last time PGA 478 was ever used for any purpose was 2003, and it might have actually been 2002. Chasito, ¿vas a salir al live? ¿Vas a salir al live?
What do you mean?
Say hi, mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Come in front of the camera. It's pointing at the computer.
Hi, Mommy. Hello, Mommy. She already knows I'm here.
Do you want to take this one apart? Are you sure? Oh, man. Gee, look at that. This heatsink actually has copper core. I'm going to punch that out. That's going to be about between 1 and 2 ounces of copper. All right, I think I'm going to go through all the rest of the stuff here. I know there's not a lot of folks watching. I think just my wife for now. But I'm going to keep it going anyway. Since this is my first live, and I honestly don't know what I'm doing. So I got to tear this thing apart. I think maybe tomorrow, well, Sunday this week, I'm going to go through all the e-waste that I've collected over the last year and a half, 2 years. Show you what it adds up to. I've got a scale, and I got a couple of boxes. I'll be shipping stuff out to board sort. That's what I recommend you do with your e-waste. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck shipping it. Now, just for reference, they do pay $32 a pound for a gold-fingered ram. Like I said earlier in the video, I do pay $25 for gold-fingered ram, and that's because I sell it to them. So if it's easier for you to just bring a couple of ounces to me worth of ram, I would more than gladly pay for it. So anyway, this motherboard is almost clean. There's a couple what's known as toroidals here, copper toroidals with ferrite donut inside of them. You can see that. These are they're called ferrite, as in ferrous graphite, is what that is. It's basically iron ferrite mixed blended with graphite. It's almost like a composite, and then it's coated with epoxy. Not that any of that's important, but I will have to cut these off before sending those to board sort, before sending this motherboard to board sort. So 3 motherboards, 3 computers. All right, thanks for joining me. Have a good night.